So I have done absolutely nothing today. And I love that for me because usually I'm like a busy bee. Every day, every single hour of the day, I usually have something planned. And I am wonderful at making myself feel really bad when I am not filling an hour with something productive rather than just sitting down. If there's anything I learned in the last month is that being still or having nothing to do or choosing to do nothing is actually still productive. I don't know about you guys, but last month was super hectic for me and it really just called for me to sit back and approach things completely different if I wanted new results. The first one is me being okay with doing nothing. A huge lesson I had to learn last month was that being still, sitting down, doing nothing is also productive. I'm usually someone who's really hard on myself. Like I don't know how to not do anything. I'm constantly being productive. I'm constantly producing something or doing something that feels like I'm producing something. And I think, we talk about like traumas, childhood traumas a lot and people throw that around, but it really is from your childhood. Like if you sit down and think about it a little bit, have you attached your identity to the things that you do? I bet you have. I definitely do. I came from a household that was very much focused on what you have and what you do, making up who you are. January was really such a moment for me to dig deep into that because I just had to sit down. My mind was running everywhere and my body wasn't allowing me to do anything that I really thought or really, put in my head that I really needed to do. So I began to just take little moments of the day, not like wasting the entire, I shouldn't say wasting, there it goes again, that language, but like I just took some moments in the day, 5 minutes, then 15 minutes, then maybe 20 minutes to have literally nothing planned for that set time. And what I learned from that was that being still is very productive in the sense that rest causes your creativity to go up, and giving yourself that rest that you need also just opens up other possibilities for you. When you're on the move constantly, or when I'm on the move constantly, it's hard for me to anticipate what's next. It's hard for me to just sit back and let what's next come to me because I'm just like not paying attention. I'm only focused on the things that I want to be focused on or are telling myself I need to be focused on. So when I took those times to just sit back and literally do nothing, I was able to be 10 times more productive the next day, or the next time I got up to do my next task. I went about it a complete different way and with a total different lens because I did nothing. Literally everything in my room is a mess right now, and guess what? I'm releasing myself of care. This past January was to really learn how to sit with my feelings. I'm a person who is always in a rush to like solve the problem, and sometimes I make my feelings the problem, and let me tell you why I stopped doing that. This past year, around September, I started a social media business, specifically helping my clients create strategy so that they can develop and carry their brand and go on to create beautiful communities online. It started off very well. It was booming actually, but then of course a recession comes along on top of the pandemic already straining all of our pockets, and it just had a drastic slowdown. So immediately I just started to feel like I failed. Like, here's one more thing that I'm not able to see through. And then it just started getting me to question every decision I've made prior to that. Like, just feeling like I should just reverse, or if I could reverse any other decisions I've made, I'd probably be in a better place. And it was just really, really getting me down on myself. And then I was like, you know what? There is no solve to this. I'm deciding that I feel this way right now, and I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna busy myself with something else. I'll figure it out. Whatever's coming next, it'll come next. And so because I didn't rush to solve it, after a little while, I stopped that cycle. Like, I stopped telling myself those things, and instead what I kept hearing, like my inner voice or whatever, what I kept hearing was, you're exactly where you need to be. Then it was like whatever books I was reading at the time, or, you know, little songs or a little something, and maybe a TV show I was watching just kept giving me the sign, you're exactly where you need to be. And that started just making me feel way better. And I actually felt great about not rushing to solve, not rushing to shut down the thoughts I was initially having, because they were the truth. Your feelings aren't always facts, but your feelings are also indicative of what you need to be giving yourself at the time. And I think I needed to give myself a little reality check, you know, like, yeah, it is true for me that I do need to slow down and think about things, but it's also true for me that I am exactly where I need to be, and where I am right now is not all bad. It's not exactly what I imagined it, but it's not all bad. what I'm doing next. I have 3 degrees, all these skills, but I'm not really sure what's up next. And strangely, I feel okay with that. I can definitely recognize that I've always been someone who's like, needs to know what's happening, you know, just very in control, very type A. Any job I've taken also just needs that type of personality, so I've had to keep it up. But I'm really enjoying not being that. I'm really enjoying instead replacing knowing what's next with just being in the moment. What I'm doing right now is the most important thing for right now, and it might not be that tomorrow, it might not even be that in 3 hours from now, but I'm really enjoying letting my mind just flow. A way to keep that in check for me, because it could be so easy and kind of sounds really arbitrary to just like, oh, just like be so in the present, be so in, and I'm just not that hippie. Like, I'm just not that easygoing, although I'm working on it, but I don't think it'll ever get there. So the way I keep it kind of guided is that I set my intention. So whether I'm applying for jobs or whether I'm getting into a new hobby that I now have time for, I make sure that it's aligned with my intentions. Right now, my biggest intention for the top of the year is that whatever I'm doing needs to bring me rest. So if that's applying for certain jobs, the job needs to be aligned with that intention. It needs to somehow either bring enough income so that I can provide rest for myself, or that the schedule aligns to give me rest. If I'm going into a new hobby, I want that to also feel restful to me. I don't want to monetize every single thing that I am good at or that I enjoy. I just want to be able to do it so that it brings my brain relaxation rather than work mode. So those are the things I'm replacing knowing what to do next with, and I am okay with just chilling. And finally, the last thing I learned in January is that while you pray or while you manifest, you also need to move your feet. In other words, you need to be doing the work. While I dedicated more time to my passions and projects this past couple of weeks, I also took the time to create a timetable that allows me to fill out work applications almost daily. I want to actively participate in the design of my life, and right now, that means balancing what I love with what I need to do in order to support myself. And maybe one day, doing what I love becomes the only thing I need to do. Thank you guys so much for watching and getting into the lessons that I've learned in January. Hopefully, these resonate with you and you're able to apply them as you move forward through the year. Don't forget to like this video if you made it this far. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.